There he is.
Hi,
Hello,
Jen.
Phil.
Hello.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. That was a beautiful introduction. And I'm very honored and happy to be here to talk to everyone tonight. I'd
We're
say
very
by,
happy.
I'd say by no means I would say I'm any sort of an expert on the Nabhi chakra, but I'm very happy to share with you all what I do understand about it and how I feel the Nabhi is.
Thank you, Phil. Now, for those of you who saw the program last Monday night, and you might have seen Rupali, who focused on the Muladhara chakra. Phil is Rupali's husband, and in the background you might see their daughter, or one of their daughters. There she is.
Bit shy there, but she's hiding in the corner.
She's one of the very sweet voices we heard last Monday. So we're hoping that we get to hear her again this evening, Nandini. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, there might be a little surprise at the end if you keep meditating long enough and your attention on Sahasrara.
Now, Phil, I know you've told me this. Now, I know you started meditating quite a long time ago. Was it when you were a teenager or in your early 20s?
I don't want to reveal too much about my age, Jenny, but it was actually when I was 17, only
17.
17 years of age, that I first came across Sahaja Yoga.
There you go. Now, tell me if you could have a look at how you are now. I know it's hard because you've been meditating for so long, most of your or all your adult life, really.
Mm.
But what would you say have been the most important changes to you because of Sahaja Yoga?
So it's a big question, and I was sort of thinking about this earlier. Because I came at such a young age and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really, become an adult outside of Sahaja Yoga and
Yeah.
then come in. It's hard to sort of compare how I might have been or what paths I might have taken.
Yes.
But at the same time, when your Kundalini is awakened and you start to become aware of the vibrations which are all around us, and they're emitting from everything all the time. So the more that you're the spirit and your attention is inside yourself, the more you start using the vibrations every single day and almost every single moment. And that can be to what job will I take, where I would like to live. If someone's talking to me, whether they're telling me something which is benevolent for me or against me.
Mm.
So almost in every moment, as you start to become more and more silent and the witness, you're using Sahaja Yoga the entire time. So if you can imagine that much change in one day, can you imagine that every day for many, many years? So it's impossible to put it into a simple phrase.
Yes. I just wanted to share, Phil, with everyone that this afternoon Phil and I had a talk over the phone about the program this evening, and one of us would say something and we'd feel a burst of vibrations, and the other one would say something and the other person would feel a burst of vibrations, and by the end of it, I think I felt like I needed to lie down. I felt the vibrations so strongly. So it's true when you know that where your attention is or what you're talking about is auspicious, or in other words, pleasing to the divine, you feel these vibrations. And to those new people who aren't feeling that yet, it's there. It will happen. It will happen with continuous meditation and that desire for it to happen. It's within all of us. We just need to uncover it.
Yes, and no matter what sort of life you lived before Sahaja Yoga, what trials you've been through, what pain you've felt, etc.
Yes.
The Kundalini is your mother, and when she rises, nothing's impossible.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Phil, I'm going to leave you to the program now and we'll chat again at the end.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. So I think we've got a couple of slides that we can play as I'm talking, which will take us through some of the mechanics of the Nabhi chakra before we do our foot soak and meditate a bit after that. I'd probably like to say, just while we're getting the slides and that ready, that so all the knowledge that I can tell you about the chakra is, I suppose, bookish knowledge, as in you can read that in a book. And that goes for everything about Sahaja Yoga that we tell you. The real way to understand Sahaja Yoga all comes from within yourself. And as your Kundalini starts nourishing the chakras and you start feeling them and they're clearing out more and more, you'll get all this understanding yourself. It's all built in within you. And that's also a lot the focus of the Nabhi chakra, in that it's all about your attention comes back inside yourself at Nabhi, and you stop going outside of yourself for seeking, for hankering after things, for chasing after various wants in our life. We realize slowly that everything's actually within us, and we're completely satisfied and fulfilled from within. Having said all that, this is the chart, which is obviously you've seen before as we've moved through the different chakras. And of course, we're focusing tonight on the third one, the blue one there, or the green one, sorry, in the picture. You can see that there's a small dot in the middle with number 3 and peace, and then a larger green circle around the whole stomach area. So, which is 3A in that diagram. So this is the Nabhi, and then the void area, we call it, around. Now, I believe next week we'll be going through the void, so I won't talk much about it today, but there is quite a crossover, so we may touch on some of that as well tonight. Of course, there might be some people, I suppose, that are even joining the first time or just watching on YouTube as well. So I will sort of give the basics also. We can see in the chart that the different colors on the dots, which are all the way up the spine, are also represented in the fingers. And the Nabhi chakra itself, it comes in our middle fingers. So you can see the green color there on the middle finger on each side. And also in the big toe of each foot, as you can see in the diagram. So this is important because we need to be able to decode, when we sit down to meditate, what state our chakras and nervous system is in. Of course, the whole point of meditating is to go into thoughtless awareness and experience something much greater than ourselves and far above the brain. But often before we can do that, we have to bring ourselves into a bit of a balance and remove the catches or the negativities that are bothering us from the left or the right, to come into the center where we can truly meditate. So each day when you sit down to meditate or you're having a foot soak, we put our hands out and we feel on these fingertips, where are we today? What is the state of our subtle system? And if we're feeling either the left middle finger or the right middle finger, as in it's maybe heavy or a bit hot or tingling, it's not a cool light sensation on that finger, then we know that that's the center which is out of balance and we have to treat it in some way. And as you move more through the classes in Sahaja Yoga, you'll learn all these different treatments and mantras and affirmations and ways to use all the elements to support and nourish and clear our subtle system. So maybe we go to the next slide now, please. That's the one. Yeah, so just a few points. All the chakras, I suppose, are really plexuses on the gross form, where you've got a lot of nerve endings all joining together. And the Nabhi chakra in the stomach has 10 sort of subplexuses around it as well. So if you imagine each chakra as a flower, then the Nabhi chakra would have 10 petals, which we might talk a bit more about next week, the guru aspect of it. But as Jenny also said earlier, the Nabhi chakra is where we get the sense of generosity from, where we become generous, where we don't sort of, try to hold on too much to what we have. We give it openly and receive more. Complete satisfaction, of course, and contentment. So the way this would really work is that when your Kundalini has risen after self-realization and it starts nourishing the Nabhi chakra in the stomach, it would slowly manifest the qualities of the Nabhi. So for someone who's maybe not very satisfied in life and they're, constantly maybe chasing material goals, or, I want a bigger house, I want a better car, whatever it is, that hankering feeling slowly stops and comes down. And then you slowly start to feel automatically just satisfied with whatever you have. And so when that satisfaction comes in, also the peace can take hold. And like Jenny said, they're so closely intertwined. On the left side, actually we'll go on the right side, it looks after our liver. So all the chakras are responsible for taking care of the organs in the body and keeping us running day to day in a very subtle way. And the liver is extremely important because it's actually the seat of our attention. So if the liver gets hot and overworked, then we find it very hard to become silent, and the thoughts don't stop. They just keep coming all the time. So from that point of view, having a very cool right Nabhi is extremely important to be able to be peaceful and to go into that meditative state. It also is very much responsible for our seeking and our spiritual ascent. So I suppose originally our main need was food and shelter. And then as those things have been satisfied and we've moved through evolution, we start to seek higher things. So the Nabhi is also related to our seeking for our self-realization and that spiritual growth that we get through Sahaja Yoga and when our Kundalini is awakened. Of course, you can see Shramataji there in the picture, in the slide, and you see Shramataji's picture, in most of the programs of Sahaja Yoga. And that's not only because, we have great respect for the founder of Sahaja Yoga, but the vibrations her photo emits are very, very strong, and our Kundalinis react and respond to those vibrations. So having her photo there helps to work out our self-realization and for our Kundalini to come up. Of course, everything actually emits vibrations around us, but Mother's vibrations are very, very special. And I think if we can go to the last slide, I just wanted to touch on the way that we actually clear the Nabhi chakra. So you probably know by now that, when we're meditating, we can direct the vibrations to the Nabhi, or the part of us which is most out of balance and needs attention. And we often do that by using our right hand and placing it on the particular center which, has trouble at the time. So if we're treating the Nabhi chakra specifically, we would keep the right hand on either the central Nabhi if both fingers were feeling the heat or the heaviness, and on the left Nabhi if it was just the left hand, and the right side if it was just the right one. And while we're doing this, there's some wonderful affirmations we can take, as we've got in the slide there. So the one on the left, we just say, "Mother, by your grace, I am completely satisfied, peaceful, and a generous person." And even if we don't necessarily feel that in our life, by positively affirming it with our self-confidence, it allows the chakra to start manifesting. And so it can turn that situation completely around. So by fixing the imbalance within ourselves, then the world around us comes back into how we want it to be, or we're happy with it. On the right side, if it's feeling the right finger, we could say, Mother, verily, you are the royal dignity within me and the solution to all my money and family problems. So if our issues are more that, financially we're suffering or our job is not so good, then it seems to affect on the right side more. And more if our home life is not balanced, or we don't have that lovely home feeling to sort of come home to at the end of the day, often it goes on the left side. So the left Nabhi comes a bit out of balance. And sometimes we feel it on both the middle fingers. So then we just have to ask our Kundalini to make us a satisfied person. So it's very important to balance ourselves as often as we can, apart from just living a balanced life, but to know how to bring ourselves into balance with the vibrations so that when we sit down to meditate, we can bring ourselves into the center and then go up above the Sahasrara and go into meditation. So the next thing I just wanted to show you was it's only a 4-minute clip of a talk. So we'll have to listen very carefully to each word. But Srimataji explains a little bit about that while clearing is important and how to do it in a very, very simple and practical way. And then after that talk, we'll go and do the foot soak. So if we could have that video stream next, Hauki, that'll be fantastic.
Now, then you have to go further. See, you find yourself that your right side is hot. What you do is to put your right side towards the photograph and left side up towards the ether. The ether takes away the heat. But what actually happens is that your right side gets the vibration and the heat is pushed towards your left and passes out into the ether. Now this heat comes from too much futuristic living. Those people who are too much futuristic, they have too much heat. And too much heat has to go away. And when this heat starts going away, then you are amazed how it works. For that there are various things we have to use, but mainly for right-sided people, they should not use any light at all. They should not sit in the sun. They should sit in the moonlight. They should read some poetry. They should not tie up watches. They should not look at time. They should allow the time to pass, and they should just become very sort of emotional people. They should sing songs of bhakti. They should not do Hatha Yoga. There's so many things they should not do if they are right-sided. You'll be surprised how people have been helped through this kind of a treatment which treats one side of your being. The left-hand side people are the people, as you know, are the ones who are docile, who bear up lots of things from others and cry and weep and all the time, are on the loser's end. Such people have problems also because all their organs are lethargic and they have problems of a lethargic heart, lethargic liver, lethargic intestines. Everything becomes very lethargic. All these left side things can be cured. Plus they might have some sort of a badha in them, in the sense they are possessed by someone. Of course, some of them are possessed by right side also. Not that only the left side is possessed, but from the right side also they are possessed. And left-sided positions are of a peculiar type because they give you pain in the body. You get pains in the body. A right-sided person doesn't get any pain himself. He gives pain to others. He's very sarcastic, he's very aggressive. He troubles others. But the left-sided people have pains themselves. They get pain here and a pain there and pain here. So left side is to be cleared, as you know very well, through the light. Light is put before the photograph, left hand towards the photograph, right hand on the Mother Earth. So the left hand gets the light, and the light passes through, and the negativity of the left side passes through the right hand, and the right hand is on the Mother Earth. The Mother Earth is the one who sucks in all these negative forces of the left hand side. So these are the two sides which we clear. But once you have cleared these two sides, then you can use the photograph. Sit with your both the hands towards the photograph and put both the feet in the water, a little bit of salt in it, and about 5-10 minutes you must allow. If you can do that every day, even 10 minutes is more than sufficient. You don't have to do anything in an extreme manner. In the morning time, you have to give yourself a bandhan when you are going out. Don't go out without giving a bandhan. And attention should be all the time inside, in the sense that
That looks like the end of the short talk there. We may be able to post a link to the full version later on, perhaps, if you wanted to hear more. But it was just some very practical advice that Sri Mataji was giving about the left and the right, and how we can change our behavior as well to start bringing ourselves into balance. So hopefully you've all got your foot soak buckets ready with a little bit of salt in them, a little maybe jug or a cup of fresh water to rinse your feet off at the end. If you've just joined, that's what we're about to do to start our foot soak. So the first thing that we would do, I don't know if by this time you have sort of set up a meditation space in your own house with Sri Mataji's picture and a candle. But if you have that, then that's very good. I hope you're in that room now. If not, we can put up a photo of Sri Mataji on the screen, because as I was saying before, the vibrations emits from her photo really help us to progress much quicker than without. So let's start our foot soak. We'll start by raising our Kundalini and putting ourselves in a bandhan. Hopefully you've know this process by now and are able to do it. If you don't, we simply put the left hand in front of our subtle system and our right hand rotates around it. And we bring the left hand all the way up above our Sahasrara and tie an imaginary knot up there. We then repeat the process again, but this time when we get up to the top, we would tie 2 knots, and this makes our attention go where it needs to go. And where we put our attention is where the Kundalini goes. So 2 knots, and then we do this one more time, as slow or as quickly as you feel like. It doesn't have to be fast. And on the last one, we tie 3 strong knots up above our head, where we feel the Kundalini when we're meditating. And then of course the second step is we put ourselves in bandhan, where we just bring our right hand completely over our entire subtle system and back down. And we do that process 7 times, 1 for each of the chakras. Now, another really good tip when we're foot soaking is to actually vibrate the bucket of water before we put our feet in it. So we do this by keeping our left hand up to receive vibrations, and with the right hand, if I can make the camera work, we simply rotate it clockwise around our bucket, directing the vibrations into the water, with our left hand towards Sri Mataji. So we can now place our feet in the water. And I'll pop my camera off, but I'll keep talking as we go through it. So let's be comfortable. Let's not sit too far forward or back. Just comfortably straight. With our feet slightly apart in the bucket, not touching, so we keep the left and the right side separate. And our hands are palm up on our laps. So the first thing to do is to just raise your hands up a little bit towards the heart. And we can ask a question of our Kundalini or Srimataji. Mother, please show me the state of my vibrations or the state of my subtle system. And just wait for an answer to come back in the form of the sensations that you might pick up on your fingertips. So just keep a bit of a note of which hand perhaps you felt was heavier or cooler, or if particular fingers were feeling different to the others. And we'll do this process again at the end. So now we can just place both our hands down on our sides with our fingertips pointing down towards the earth. So we know that all the elements, our chakras are made up of the elements, and the elements are a great help in clearing ourselves. So by using the water and the salt with our feet, but we're also using Mother Earth directly as well. And the Mother Earth herself, she has her own Kundalini, which recognizes Sahajyogis, and our Kundalini can respond to it. And so often before we meditate or we sit down on the Mother Earth, if you ask the Mother Earth to clear your chakras and your centers, a lot of the heat and obstructions can be sucked in quite quickly, and you'll actually feel it like a draw or a magnet feeling on the Muladhara, in the hands. And just by putting our attention very respectfully on the Mother Earth and asking her to help clear all our chakras today, you can just ask within your heart quietly. And then the next obstacle normally, or the next thing to do, is to desire that those qualities that we heard about a week ago when we spoke about the Muladhara Chakra and of that deity Sri Ganesha. Because his qualities are innocence and wisdom and purity, these qualities underpin our complete Kundalini awakening. And if they're not there, our Kundalini can't rise at all. So we ask within our heart as well that we can feel these qualities of innocence. We can be joyfully innocent like a little child and be completely happy without a care in the world. Mother, please let me feel the innocence and the joy within me. And please make me a very wise person. So now we can bring our hands up to our lap again. And now, as Srimataji said in the talk, if we're feeling problems on the left side, we simply keep the left hand towards her and drop the right hand back down towards the earth where it was a moment ago. And this allows the vibrations coming from Srimataji, from the photo, which you will feel as you get more and more subtler, to come in through your left hand and push all the negativity over to the right channel and down through the right hand. So we'll just hold this position for a while and ask for the balance. Mother, please give me complete balance and remove all the obstacles to my ascent that are affecting me on the left side. Mother, please balance our collective left side and remove all the obstacles to our collective ascent and all the obstacles to us feeling the complete self-realization which are coming from the left side and from the past. You might feel one hand is really cool or one's hot. You may feel the transfer of heat going down into the earth. So your Kundalini is now working hard to clear your left side. And if you can keep your attention on the very top of your head, and if you're able to feel in your attention that your Kundalini is up there, then that's the best place to be. And we can just say in our heart, Mother, I am the pure spirit. I am not the past or the future. I am not this ego or all these thoughts that ceaselessly bother me. But at my essence, I am the pure spirit. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Now let's treat the right side. So we'll bring the right hand back up and open it palm upwards towards Srimataji's photo and the candle, if you have one. The left hand we now push back up over the left shoulder, behind the left ear, with your fingers pointing towards the ceiling. So this allows the vibrations to come in through the right hand and for the left hand to vent, sort of like a chimney, where we're using the element of the ether to absorb all the excess heat from our right side. So we could say, Mother, please remove all the heat, all the excess heat in my right channel. Please remove all the I feelings, the ego within us, the doer feeling, that part of us which feels like we've achieved things or not achieved things. please take all the heat and all the catches and all the obstructions affecting my right channel and pass them out into the ether. Just hold it up a little bit longer. See if you can feel that flow, that movement of the heat or coolness. And then we bring both hands back down to the lap again. And we might sing the Guru mantra. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Let's now put the right hand on our forehead, on the forehead across, pressing a little bit from each side, sort of cupping the front of our head. And just take a little bit of the weight of your head in the hand and tilt forward a bit. And here, of course, is the center of forgiveness. So without thinking about who we have to forgive or what's happened to us, simply say, Mother, I forgive everyone and I forgive myself. Mother, I forgive everyone and I forgive myself. Let's take the hand and place it on our Sahasrara Chakra, the part of your skull which was soft as a baby, and press the fingertips back up towards the ceiling so that your entire palm is firmly planted on your Sahasrara Chakra. We want to rotate that hand around with enough pressure that your whole scalp moves with the pressure of your hand. We go over to the left, towards the front of the head, back to the right, back to the back of the head. We rotate 7 times, and very, very humbly, just in your heart, make that prayer or that desire of Mother or Shri Mataji, please strongly establish my self-realization. Shri Mataji, please give me the full experience of my self-realization. And just desire this about 7 times as you move the hand around. And then slowly just lift that hand 4 to 6 inches or a little higher above your head, and just hold it nice and still there for a little while. See if you can feel again that cool breeze touching the skin on the bottom of your hand, coming out of your Sahasrara. You may feel it like a magnet between your head and your hand, or you might feel heat even. If you don't feel anything, just move that hand a little bit forward and hold it again, or a little bit back, or a little bit higher or lower, and just see if you can find it. You might feel the moment that your hand passes over it, like an invisible fountain. You can also swap hands and just try and feel it again with the left hand up there. Sometimes we're a bit blocked on one side or the other, so the hand can't feel it so well. And then just to finish off the foot soak, we'll strengthen that experience again by just tying up our Kundalini the way we did before. 1 knot the first time, then 2, and then 3. And try and tie that knot in the place where you're feeling that connection above your head. And put yourself in bandhan again by moving the hand completely over the entire body from one side to the other and back 7 times. So now just before we throw the water, if you can again just raise your hands up to that heart level, slightly facing towards your heart. And we just ask again, Mother or Shri Mataji, please show me the state of my chakras. Where am I really at in reality? Please let me feel that state. And then if you are feeling some catches or some heaviness or some heat, we can just surrender it, knowing that our Kundalini is continuously actually working to try to soothe us down, solve all our problems, and lift us up very high. So we just say, Mother Kundalini, I surrender whatever I felt tonight to you, and you please look after it. I just want to feel the cool breeze and experience the state of bliss in my Sahasrara. So now we can rinse our feet off, take them out of the bucket, and dispose of the foot soak bucket salt water. And then we'll come back and we'll hear a short talk by Shrimataji specifically on the Nabhi chakra. And if you continue to try and meditate while you're listening to the talk, and if you're feeling vibrations before, keep your attention on what you're feeling while you listen to the talk, and the vibrations will continue to work for you. So now we can hear the talk.
The Nabhi chakra is placed at the center of gravity of every human being. If it is not there,
that means it is going to be a little problem. For you to get it in its right place. There is a kind of a trouble which most of you suffer from. It's maybe due to drugs or maybe nervous problems, due to war, or maybe some sort of a shock to your sustenance. For example, during war, people lost their values because they lost faith in God. Chaste women who believed in chastity were brutally assaulted. Very religious people were persecuted. Families were broken. Many men were killed. And children, women, and old people were scattered. A very horrible atmosphere of insecurity. Overpowered all these nations. Then came the concentration camps also, which shattered human beings. Because human beings are very delicate instruments. They are the coveted creations. They are the highest. And they were dominated by things like bombs, which are matter. Thus the spirit in man died out. People lost faith in righteousness, in love. Then a new pattern of securities were built up. The Industrial Revolution followed it. As a result, And the artificial sense of joy, of security, of love was accepted by the society. This is what man did with his freedom. Because wars are created by man. This is not God's doing. But along with it, very great seeking souls took their birth on this earth. They started seeking beyond these artificial securities, like materialism. The seekers had no proper leaders. To organize them. And to lead them to the right path. So the mistakes committed by them created a hurdle. So apart from the hurdles of human awareness, so many other hurdles were added. Yes. So many other hurdles were added which made Sahaja Yoga a difficult process for them. The countries who took part in the war only became the developed countries. As a reaction, it's a reaction. They are the only developed people who are actually taking part in the war. And those who did not are underdeveloped. So on one side, we have countries who are trying to seek because they are overdeveloped, because they are affluent, but their seekers have lost their moorings. Because of anti-feeling. Alright? While other countries are not yet developed. So the seekers there are still seeking in money. At this juncture, Sahaja Yoga was found out. This was the stage. By which the promised union of human awareness with God is established. Through which you feel your unconscious. The power of God, which is all pervading, which thinks, organizes and plans. Only through Kundalini Yoga of Sahaja Kundalini Yoga, only through Sahaja Kundalini Yoga, human beings are going to evolve. But those who are going to evolve have to have their dharma intact.
Please continue to remain in a meditative state if you can. Your attention on your Sahasrara, or wherever you're feeling the vibrations. And we're going to hear a short song now on the qualities of the Nabhi and related to the deity of Nabhi, the Lakshmi.
Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Adya Lakshmi Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vidya Lakshmi Sakshat Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Yoga Lakshmi Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha Shri Amruta Lakshmi Shri Saubhagya Lakshmi Shri Gruha Lakshmi Shri Raja Lakshmi Shri Satya Lakshmi Shri Amruta Lakshmi Shri Saubhagya Lakshmi Namo Namah Shri Gruha Lakshmi Shri Raja Lakshmi Shri Satya Lakshmi Shri Amruta Lakshmi Namo Namah Shri Saubhagya Lakshmi Namo Namah Shri Gruha Lakshmi Shri Raja Lakshmi Shri Satya Lakshmi Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah Shri Adi Shakti Namo Namah Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Adi Shakti Namo Namah Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Adi Shakti Namo Namah Shri Amruta Lakshmi Shri Saubhagya Lakshmi Shri Gruha Lakshmi Shri Raja Lakshmi Shri Satya Lakshmi Shri Amruta Lakshmi Shri Saubhagya Lakshmi Shri Gruha Lakshmi Shri Raja Lakshmi Shri Satya Lakshmi Shri Amruta Lakshmi Shri Saubhagya Lakshmi Shri Gruha Lakshmi Shri Raja Lakshmi Shri Satya Lakshmi Shri Gruha Lakshmi Shri Raja Lakshmi Shri Satya Lakshmi Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Adi Shakti Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Adi Shakti Namo Namaha Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Adi Shakti Namo Namaha Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Adi Shakti Namo Namaha Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Yoga Lakshmi Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha
Let's raise our Kundalini one more time and put ourselves in Bandhan. I think that pretty much concludes our program for tonight. Unless anyone has questions or Jenny has some further words to add.
No, I don't feel words are necessary right at this moment. That was very beautiful, Phil. Thank you very much. Thank you to your family as well. I feel the complete peace right now.
Very good.
If anyone does have a question though, we are very happy to answer it. You could either raise your virtual hand or put it on the chat. I think the chat we might put back on now, please, Hauke. We do have one question on the WhatsApp group. I'll just read it out. I feel it probably goes back to what we were saying right at the beginning, but I'll read it out. How can self-realized individuals in the family doing regular meditation protect from catching from other self-realized members of the family who are not into regular meditation? Does a bad Nabhi of the mother have any impact on the adult children who are not married? So essentially, how can we protect ourselves? And can the vibrations of someone else in the family affect us? Is the question.
So I can have a little go at it. It's a bit of a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Most certainly the vibrations of the parents affect the children. And especially when the children are young, sometimes we see little babies, with terrible diseases or problems, and we sort of wonder why such a small child could, have any problems or so early in life. But it's generally because they absorb all the catches of their parents and the family, and so we can normally find out that the problems of the children can be actually traced back to the parents. As to the harder part of the question, how to sort of work or live with people who are not clearing themselves as much as you or meditating properly at all. I think we have a really good example in that Shrimataji herself, her family weren't in Sahaja Yoga. Her husband wasn't in Sahaja Yoga. They didn't even meditate. And look what she managed to do. So I feel that by manifesting more and more of the qualities of the chakras within your own meditation, you will find ways to rise above the problems coming from the other people in the family. And your example at some point should also raise them up, that they will start feeling that you don't react the same way as you did before when they push the buttons, and that you've achieved some state which is clearly above and beyond what they have. And at that time, you'll also be quite powerful, but the hope is that they will then follow your example and realize that what you're doing is something really quite amazing. If anyone else has anything to add to that one, please go ahead.
No, that's a very good answer. I think we need to remember that we should never be afraid. We shouldn't be afraid of the vibrations of others, because our role is not just to clear ourselves, but everyone around us. And often we've been put into particular situations so we can work them out. So to Tanu, wherever you are, everything, you are being looked after, and you are working something out there, and know that you have the strength and the power to do it. So just keep doing what you're doing and everything will work out. I think that might be. There was only one more from Prakriti who wanted to confirm that the Nabhi chakra is the same as the Manipur.
Correct, yes.
Yes. All right. I think that's it. We might share some of those talks, Phil, on the group, And also maybe your PowerPoint would be good. I'm sure people would love that.
Absolutely. I see there's just a request in the chat there that while we're all sort of still feeling the vibrations, especially if we do put a bundan situation in Russia and Ukraine right now,
Yeah, we can do that.
we can all just do that. It's just by writing on our left hand with the right finger.
Yeah.
All the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Just give that a button. Clockwise. Your attention in the Sahasrara. Another very nice prayer for something like this is to say that may the pure love of my Kundalini work on all the people in Russia and Ukraine who are instrumental in this conflict. And let their understanding be elevated.
Thank
Jai
you.
Shri Mataji, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everyone. We still have some music. Please stay if you'd like to meditate further. Good night.